We'll continue our study of rational equations in this video and look at solving rational equations that lead to quadratic equations. The steps for solving this type of equation are exactly the same that we just covered in the previous objective. The only difference is that the resulting equation is a quadratic equation, and we will solve that equation by factoring or other techniques that we have learned. Let's get right into some examples. We have the equation 4 divided by the expression x minus 4 minus 6x divided by the expression x plus 4 equals 6 divided by the expression x plus 4. We begin by identifying our least common denominator, which is the product of x minus 4 and x plus 4. Our restricted values come from where each of those factors in the denominator are equal to 0. So that is from where x minus 4 equals 0 or x plus 4 is equal to 0. Solving these two equations, we get that x equals 4 and x equals negative 4 are our restricted values. To solve the equation, we will multiply each term of the equation by the least common denominator. So we have 4 divided by the expression x minus 4 times the LCD, x minus 4 times x plus 4, minus 6x divided by the expression x plus 4 times the LCD, x minus 4 times x plus 4, and that is equal to 6 divided by x plus 4 times the LCD, x minus 4 times x plus 4. Divide out each of the common factors. In the first product, the x minus 4 is common, and we're left with 4 times the expression x plus 4. Applying the distributive property, we get 4x plus 16. In the middle product, notice that the x plus 4's divide out. We're left with minus 6x times x minus 4. So be careful with that minus 6x. Distributing, we get a negative 6x squared, and then a negative times a negative will be plus 24x. And that is equal to, on the right, the x plus 4 divides out, and we're left with 6 times x minus 4, or 6x minus 24. Combining like terms, we get negative 6x squared. 4x plus 24x is 28x plus 16 equals 6x minus 24. We have a quadratic equation because of the exponent of 2. We need to set one side equal to 0 and see if we can factor. I will subtract 6x and add 24 to each side. And in doing that, I get a negative 6x squared. 28x minus 6x is 22x. And then 16 plus 24 is plus 40 is equal to x. And I would observe that there's a common factor of a negative 2, and we can divide through by a numerical value. Remember, we can never divide by a variable here, but I'm going to divide by negative 2 to simplify this equation. And this will give us a positive 3x squared minus 11x minus 20 is equal to 0. And now I need to factor by finding the factors of 3x squared, which are just 3x and x. There are quite a few factors of 20, right? 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, and I need to try to arrange these so that I get an 11 in the middle. And so remember, there is a systematic way to do this. If you don't want to do trial and error, I would need to look at what is 3 times negative 20, which is negative 60. And I want to find the factors of negative 60 whose sum is negative 11. So if I think about the factors of negative 60, don't worry about the sign being negative right now, let's just think in terms of positive factors. So I'd have 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, and 6 and 10. So for the factors to be negative, or to have a product that's negative, I need one positive and one negative, and for the sum to be a negative, I need the larger factor negative. So I'm going to put a negative down all of those numbers to the right, and figure out which one has a sum of negative 11, and that is 4 and negative 15. And so that tells me I need to get an outer and inner product of 4 and negative 15 using the factors of 20. And so to get a 15, I have to multiply the 3 by 5. So I know a 5 has to go in the binomial to the right, and a 4 in the binomial to the left. So I need a negative 15, which will be a negative 5, and then a plus 4. And so now I can set these factors to 0. I get 3x plus 4 is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. And so 3x is equal to negative 4, and dividing by 5 I get dividing by 3 I get negative 4/3, or adding 5 I get x is equal to 5. And note that neither one of these values are restrictions, so my solution set consists of negative 4/3 and 5. Example B is 4 divided by the expression x minus 2 minus 4 divided by the expression x squared plus x minus 6 equals 3x divided by the expression x plus 3. The first thing I need to do is factor the x squared plus x minus 6. And this factors as x and x, the factors of negative 6, whose sum is 1, will be plus 3 and minus 2. So my least common denominator is the x plus 3 times x minus 2. My restrictions come from where each of those denominators are equal to 0. That is where x minus 2 is equal to 0, or x plus 3 is equal to 0. Therefore, I get positive 2 or negative 3 as my restricted values. Now we want to multiply each term of the equation by the LCD. We get 4 divided by x minus 2 times x plus 3 and x minus 2 minus 4 divided by x plus 3 times x minus 2 times that LCD, x plus 3 times x minus 2, is equal to 3x divided by x plus 3 times the LCD, x plus 3 times x minus 2. Dividing out the common factors, x minus 2 divides out to get 4 times x plus 3, or by the distributive property, 4x plus 12. In my middle expression, note that both of the factors divide out, and I just am left with minus 4. And is equal to, on the right, the x plus 3 divides out, so 3x times x minus 2 is 3x squared minus 6x. Combining like terms, I get 4x plus 12 minus 4 is 8, is equal to 3x squared minus 6x. Again, I recognize that I have a quadratic equation. I need to set one side to 0. Because our squared term is already on the right-hand side, we can subtract 4x and subtract 8 from each side. And this gives us 0 on the left is equal to 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. And now we want to try to factor this. The 3x squared is just 3x and x. The factors of 8 are either 1 and 8 and 2 and 4. And so if we put 2 with the 3x and 4 with the x, let's see, the outer would be 12x. The inner would be 2x, and between 12x and 2x, I can get a 10. Notice that I need a negative product, right, a negative 8, which means that the signs of the binomials need to be opposite signs, and that the sum of the outer and inner has to be a negative 10. So the larger of those two outer and inner products has to be negative. Right, so to get negative 10x, I have to have a negative 12x and a plus 2x, which means that the negative goes with the 4 and plus with the 2. So the factors are 3x plus 2 times x minus 4. And then we set those factors to 0 to get 3x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0. So 3x is equal to negative 2, and x is equal to negative 2/3, or x is equal to 4. And neither one of those are restrictions, so our solution set is negative 2/3 and 4. Example C is 4x divided by the expression x minus 3 equals 4 divided by the expression x plus 5 plus 3x squared plus 69 divided by x squared plus 2x minus 15. We begin by factoring x squared plus 2x minus 15, which does factor as x and x, and the factors of negative 15, whose sum is 2, would be 5 and negative 3. So our least common denominator is the product of x plus 5 and x minus 3. And the restricted values come from where x plus 5 is equal to 0, or x is equal to negative 5, and x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x is equal to 3. Multiplying each term of the equation by the LCD, we get 4x divided by x minus 3 times x plus 5 times x minus 3 is equal to 4 divided by x plus 5 times x plus 5 times x minus 3 plus 3x squared plus 69 over x plus 5 times x minus 3 times x plus 5 times x minus 3. Simplifying, we first divide out x minus 3 to get 4x times x plus 5, which is 4x squared plus 20x, is equal to, notice that the x plus 5 divides out, 4 times x minus 3 is 4x minus 12. And then that's plus, both of those factors, x plus 5 and x minus 3, divide out. So we're left with just plus 3x squared plus 69. Combining like terms, we get 4x squared plus 20x is equal to 3x squared plus 4x, and negative 12 plus 69 is plus 57. So we need to set one side equal to 0 because we have a quadratic equation, which we can do by subtracting 3x squared from each side, subtract 4x from each side, and subtract 57 from each side. Combining like terms, we get just 4x squared minus 3x squared is just 1x squared. 20 minus 4 is plus 16x, and then minus 57 equals 0. So this is a trinomial that we can factor. I need to find the factors of negative 57, whose sum is 16. And that's going to be plus 19 minus 3. Setting those factors equal to 0, we get x plus 19 is equal to 0, or x is equal to negative 19. Or x minus 3 is equal to 0, which gives us x is equal to 3. We have to check to make sure that we don't have any restrictions, but notice that the 3 is a restricted value. We have to discard that. So the only solution is negative 19.